Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodity ETFs that I follow. If you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. We still have the coupon code going on, LEAP. It will expire at some point soon, I think over the next few days. So get on it if you want a discount to try it out on the monthly membership, 50% off the first month. Or you can move to the yearly membership and get a bigger discount if you'd like to do that. So let's dive in here. Let's see what's going on today, and I'll share my financial opinions as we go through it. We've got the DXY here. We are higher today, surprisingly, as yields are a little bit mixed. We'll go over that. But the dollar is a little bit higher, and the higher dollar does put a little bit of pressure on the metals prices in the short term and some of the commodities prices as that dollar is stronger against other currencies. And remember, the denominator in the pricing of almost all these assets is the dollar. So the relative strength does matter, and it does impact money flows going into emerging markets and commodities, uh, depending on which way the dollar is going. Generally, speaking, if we get a weaker dollar and lower interest rates, commodities are helped to some degree until we get a big slowdown in the market. Uh, but overall, generally speaking, weaker dollar definitely does help precious metals. The 2-year yield basically flat today, 0.09% higher, but it is flat. Um, we've been moving on up recently, and is this a turn lower? That I do not know if this is going to be a start of a new trend or if this is just a little pullback that we continue on up. Um, I don't think it's real clear on what the Federal Reserve is going to do because the 2-year yield basically front runs what what the Federal Reserve does. So I really don't know what the Federal Reserve is wanting to do here. I don't know if they're going to lower rates. I don't know if they're going to raise rates or keep them flat. And I think that's why the 2-year yield's like, I don't know where to go. The 10-year yield, we are getting a little bit of selling pressure today, down 0.56. That is a bearish engulfing, but we do have support underneath us, and there's a little wick at the bottom. Tough call on which direction this is going to go. Most of the times, this is just a sideways pattern that we break to the upside. We did get a bearish engulfing today, which generally likes to go down, and we've got support underneath us. Flip a coin, boys, because that's where we're at right now. I don't know if yields have a clear direction on which direction they want to go in the short term. We'll have to watch and see. TYX doing the same thing as the 10-year yield, bearish engulfing here, which generally works lower. We are at support, and generally speaking, if you're inside of this candlestick, a lot of the times you go up. So flip a coin, guys. That's where I'm at in the short term. Now, if yields do go down, huge tailwind that's going to be generated for precious metals. Huge. If they go up, it's going to be oil driving that move. Oil's most likely breaking to the upside. TYX TNX ratio, we are continuing to head lower. We had a little bit of an inversion of the yield curve. So that means that the 10-year went down more than the 30-year. Not a huge tailwind being generated behind gold. When this goes up from a low position to an upper position, that's generally when gold takes off. So we're still inverted. We've been going sideways for a pretty long time, and we're inverting further. This is kind of that mix up between the market and the Federal Reserve here, saying that basically they were going to cut rates, and then the cutting rates was here. Then they said, I don't think we're going to cut rates, and then it came back down. So we'll see where it goes. TLT moving on up. That does look like it wants to continue higher, which means yields are going lower on the long end of the curve. And then the 2 and 10 is holding steady today, basically going nowhere. This curve is inverting as it goes up. So uh, again, generally speaking, when the curve uninverts, gold likes that. And when the curve inverts, going up or staying up, oil generally does pretty well. So gold up $10 because we did have a little bit lower yields. It's holding in there and looks pretty good. It's holding steady. We've got silver up. This looks good to go higher. It does. It looks like it wants to go higher. Broken down trend line here, a retest, and we're starting to kind of work our way above that support area. Platinum down a little bit. This is actually a good location to be looking, in my opinion, for the physical metal. And then palladium up a little bit, up 2.45%. And it's right trying to bottom out at the support zone. XAU to gold ratio up a little bit today. We're gold and silver mining companies outperforming gold, the physical metal. That's looking good, but we're up against support and hopefully it holds. And I'd like to see this thing start going up, which means if yields do pull back, which it looks like they could on the long end of the curve, maybe this can be a catalyst to move this higher for gold and silver mining companies. We'll have to watch it. The CRB index, we are flat today, basically. I mean, we are flat. And it still looks good to go higher. There's nothing there stating it doesn't look weak. We've got the CRB to S&P 500 slightly lower today, but that still looks good to go higher. It's just a flag pattern, something on the lines of that. We've got GDX up, but again, let's wait and see what brings. Let's see what we've got over the next few trading sessions. GDXJ and SILJ. They're kind of moving up a little bit, but it's not a big reversal candlestick. It's not a green army candlestick. It's nothing with a bunch of oomph behind it. So I think we still need to watch and see what the heck's going on here. And watch yields. Crude oil's down a little bit. We're right up against that resistance area. Shoulder, head, I'll leave that in there, shoulder. And then the neckline going across. We're trying to break through that neckline. We're right on top of it. Again, let's monitor this. Let's see if we can get some upside breakage. TTF nat gas down a little bit. Momentum's to the downside for sure. We've got natural gas down 1.9%. It's gonna take some time here, guys. It's gonna take time to bottom out. Give it some time. I'm not ultra bullish. I don't think we're just gonna go, rocketing to the upside. But I do think when summer starts to roll around and we have power burn going up for air conditioning, yeah, we can see this start to drift higher. But we're still in the middle of that between heating, cooling season and heating season. We're coming into the middle ground of both of those from a weather standpoint. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, it is squeezing up. Which way is this thing going to break? Tough call here. We put a little bit better candlestick. To me, I mean, this could break down. It could. Maybe we've got weakness. Maybe it breaks to the upside with oil breaking up. We'll find out here in the next few trading sessions. OIH also just moving sideways. This makes me think that we want to go higher because why would you break this trend line to the upside, go sideways? I mean, that still looks like it wants to go on up. So XOP and OIH, I think, will move higher with oil whenever oil decides to release from its resistance area. Crop Physical Uranium Trust, kind of a weird setup here, guys. It really is. We've got downside momentum. Today we put in a bearish engulfing, but we've got a big fat candlestick or wick on the candlestick at the bottom, which means there's buying pressure off this bottom here, which means that we came up throughout the day and the momentum's heading to the upside. Who's going to win out here? Tough call on which direction this is actually going to go. What I'll say is, from the information that we've got today, we have momentum going up. We have a bearish engulfing candlestick with the body of it, and we'll see how this plays out over the next few trading days. I could see a case for a move higher, and I can also see a case on the longer term for a move lower. So we could very well pump up here and then break to the downside. We'll see. I don't want to make a call here. It's a really tough call in which direction we're going to go in the short term. URA also just selling off a little bit. Momentum's to the downside still. We've got URNM also momentum still to the downside. And then URNJ momentum still to the downside. Well, it's looking better. We've got two large candlesticks here and smaller selling pressure. We'll see. I want to see another candlestick or two, see which direction we're clearly going. before I would deploy any more capital myself in this sector. I've already got my positions. I'm just going to let it ride. I don't see the point of trying to time all this short-term market mumbo jumbo sort of stuff. Tan with those weaker yields up a little bit, still bouncing sideways here. We've got copper slightly higher, right under resistance, right under resistance. We've got COPX up 1.3%. Again, we got to break copper to the upside for this to do some launchy. Otherwise, I think it's just going to continue to move sideways until we break out of that pattern. Lithium up. It likes the lowering of yields, and same with REMX. That's up too with the lowering of yields. Is this going to be sustainable? Are yields in fact going to go into a downtrend, or is it something that we just got in the short term, a temporary move lower? Again, we'll have to wait and see. No clear direction on yields, in my opinion. S&P 500, we're up a little bit today, lower yields, but again, guys, we're squeezing up into the corner here. We're going to break one way or the other. And if I were to guess, I mean, it's still holding on at this time. I don't see a reversal candlestick yet, so I'm not going to make a judgment call here. This could easily go up. We're basically at that decision point here. There's your question mark. Your question mark there. We'll see which direction we go. NASDAQ's doing the same thing. We're up in that corner. And are we going to break out, or are we going to break down like the increasing rising wedge we've got? We're moving sideways in regional banks. We're up 1.37%, but sideways here. It still looks good to go higher. I do think lowering rates is going to help the regional banks if rates go lower. Emerging markets will also be held up if the dollar and rates go lower. They'll move on up. XHB, dollar rates go lower, we're going higher. For XHB, it's going to help with mortgage rates. That's going to go up, which it's doing. MU also just moving sideways. I think if rates go down, this will go up. That's what we've seen historically out of this and how it's traded. You can see from 2020, nice big move up there. It went sideways from 2018. We'll see. It might stay down here for a while if rates do come down. Iron ore moving on up today, 1.11% after this big move lower. Which direction will this go? Tough to say. It's probably going to close this gap, and we'll have to see where it goes from there. Nickel up a little bit. I think this is bottoming for nickel. This looks good to go higher. Aluminum up 1.5%, likes the lower rates. I think this could go up with rates going down. It looks like we've got nice little breakage today there. You like that, don't you? Don't you? Don't you? There you go. Nice little break to the upside. We could see a run in aluminum possibly. Baltic Dry Index up 7.5%. Baltic Dry Index is crushing it. We got lots of demand for coal coming. We're going higher there. That looks good. Newcastle coal higher with coal prices 1.15. I do think we're going to work our way on up. This looks like a really good spot to be looking at coal, potential coal investments. BTC is up 1.2% today. We do have these wicks at the top, which generally could be a little toppy here, and we could see it pull back a little bit. We'll have to see what the pullback looks like. And then Ethereum, we do have a pullback, I think, starting. It's also got those wicks, a little red candlestick. We'll see if we get a pullback. Then we got to see the follow through. If this pulls back with big fat red candlesticks, we're going lower. If it pulls back with teeny little red candlesticks, very small and controlled, we are going higher, in my opinion. Let's see what that pullback looks like. Looks like SMCI was up a little bit today. Not a real, not a vote of confidence here. It looks kind of weak still. And then NVIDIA, it's up today, but we'll see. We'll see where this goes. It's still hanging on for a move higher, but I don't touch these things. I just watch it for the heck of it. Because of the valuation, I'm not touching it. But that's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. We've got a 7 a.m. question and answer session coming up on Saturday. Be there. We'll talk about companies, position sizing, how I view some of these things in the markets in terms of companies. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about yields, depending on which way yields go. But yeah, we'll go over that. Bring your questions if you guys have questions, and we'll see you there. So that's all I've got for today. See you next time. This is Finding Value.